Welcome to KTU Online Study App. So today we are going to see the topic on mathematics for scheme 2024 semester 3 student group B and C. So let me decode the syllabus. So what are the syllabus for module 1? So what is the syllabus they have given means, so the given syllabus are, what is the given syllabus they have given? The 4-year integral from 4-year series to, you want to know about the 4-year integral. Then 4-year cosine and sine integral. Then you also want to know about its transformation and linearity, transform of derivative, Fourier transform and its inverse, and linearity, transform of derivative. So the syllabus is given in the mixed order. So we can arrange the order. So arranging the order. So first we will be going with the Fourier integral. Okay, we will be going with the Fourier integral. Then if you know about Fourier integral, its continuity is Fourier cosine and sine integral. Cosine and sine integral. It's a continuity of Fourier integral. Okay, if those who know about Fourier integral very thorough, you can able to easily solve the Fourier cosine and Fourier sine integral. Very easy topic. Just you want to know about the formula. Now, after knowing Fourier integral, Fourier cosine and sine integral, we will move on to the Fourier transform. That is Fourier transform and its inverse, that is inverse Fourier transform and its inverse Fourier transform. So once we have completed with the Fourier transform and its inverse transform, we will be going into the same order. If you know this one, we can able to solve the questions on Fourier cosine transform and sine transform. Fourier cosine and sine transform. So this is the order we want to go, because the syllabus is given in a mixed order. We will be going in the order of Fourier integral, Fourier cosine and sine integral, Fourier transform and its inverse, Fourier cosine transform and sine transform. Then we will be move on to the, there is a transform of derivative. The last chapter will be in transform of derivatives. And we will also see about the from Fourier series to Fourier integral. How it is from Fourier series to Fourier integral, it is transform. Because what is Fourier series means, it is a periodic function. So from periodic function to how it is going to non-periodic. That means there is no repeating some things are happening, no repetitions are happening. Okay, so that's the thing. Periodic to non-periodic. That is the thing. We will go on to the that topics also. So from Fourier series to Fourier integral. So this is the syllabus we want to know. So Fourier integral, Fourier cosine and Fourier sine integral, Fourier transform. Then we will be going on to the Fourier cosine and sine transform. Then we will be move on to the transform of derivative. So this is the order, the syllabus you want to be completing. Okay. So now we will move on to the Fourier integral. So before going into Fourier integral, you want to know some foundations of Fourier integral. I have told you, in Fourier integral, this is nothing but what? It is a non-repeating. You don't know when the period will be repeating. Okay, that you don't know when the period will be repeating. So the limit for Fourier integral is nothing but it will be from minus infinity to infinity. Okay, because you don't know, you are waiting for prolonged period of time. So that is the reason their limit is nothing but minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so here you want to know some basics thing. Then only when you are entering into the topic, it is very easy. Here you want to learn the formula. If you know the formula very well and some basic integration formula, it is very enough to get the full mark in this module. Okay, so foundations of Fourier integral, that is basics thing you want to know. First of all, we will able to know about what is odd function and what is even function. Okay, you want to know what is odd function and what is even function. So what is odd function? What is odd function and even function Example, f of x is equal to x. F of x is equal to x. Suppose f of minus x, f of minus x is equal to what? In place of x I am replacing. So in place of x I am replacing, that is we are going to replace, we are going to replace minus x. Okay, in place of x we are going to replace minus x. So what will happen? It will become f of x will equal to x, means f of minus x will become what? Minus x. So f of x, so from here we can able to say f of x is not equal to f of minus x. It is not equal to f of minus x. When such a condition is coming, f of x is not equal to minus f of x, is condition is coming, we will be saying it what? It is an odd function. It is an odd function. So whenever, when we are f of x they are given in the question and we are replacing it with minus x, then both the conditions are equal, means we will be calling it as what? Even function. If it is not equal, we will be calling it what? Odd function. Example of even function. Let me see the example of even function. Example of even function. So f of x is equal to, let me consider as x square. Okay, x square. So I am just replacing it with minus x. So minus x the whole square. X I am replacing with minus x. So minus x the whole square. So it is nothing but what? Minus x the whole square is nothing but x square only, because minus into minus it will become plus. Okay, minus the whole square is plus. So we are getting here f of minus x also what? X square. So f of x is equal to what? F of minus x. So we can say the thing, this condition is what? Even function. This condition is called as even function. Similarly, here hugely we are going to use about the trigonometry. Okay, trigonometry. So for example, here example we will call as a cos theta. Cos theta equal to f of s. Okay, let me see cos f of theta. Okay, cos theta is equal to f of theta. So when I am replacing it with minus theta, when I replacing it with minus theta, in place of theta I am replacing it with minus theta, what will happen? It will become cos minus theta. Cos minus theta. What is cos minus theta? That is nothing but, cos minus theta is nothing but cos theta only. So we can say that thing, f of theta is equal to f of minus theta. F of theta is equal to f of minus theta. So we can call, so we can call cos theta is equal to what? Even function. Cos theta is equal to what? Even function we can call. Okay, similarly f of theta is equal to, let me take sin theta. Similarly f of theta is equal to sin theta. So if I taking replacing theta with minus theta to identify even function or odd function, so what will happen? Sin minus theta. Sin minus theta. So what is sin minus theta? That is nothing but minus sin theta. That is nothing but what? Minus sin theta. So f of theta is equal to f of minus theta. That is, here it is not equal. Here f of theta is not equal to f of minus theta. So we will be calling it. So we can call sin theta as what? Sin theta as an odd function. As an odd function. Okay. Okay, so these are the one of the basics you want to know. So sin theta, you know the thing, it is what? Sin theta is nothing but it is an odd function, and cos theta is what? Cos theta is a even function. So you know the thing now, both the thing you know the thing. Okay, now for example, f of x is equal to, f of x is equal to 5. F of x is equal to 5 or any constant, or any constant value, or any constant value, or any constant value. F of x is equal to 5 or any constant value. So what will happen? If you are replacing it with minus 5 also, what is minus f of minus x? That is, here no x term is there. See, you observe here no x term is there. X term is there. So if you replace it with minus x also, what is minus x? That is also nothing but 5 only, or any constant value. So from here we can come to the conclusion. Whenever, from here we can say the thing, whenever constant value is given, you will be treating as what? Even function. So constant functions also, constant values also we will be treating as what, as a even function. Okay, this is even function. Okay, this is even function. Cos is a even function, so constant function also even function only. Okay, so these are the, so now you have learned about sin theta is an odd function and cos theta and constant values are considered as what, even function. So these are the core basics. Then you also want to learn about some more basics, that is multiplication of odd function and even function. So when it comes to, just for your understanding purpose, I'm just saying that treat for understanding purpose, just for understanding purpose, for understanding purpose. Okay, so just treat odd function as a negative. Okay, odd function as a negative symbol. Okay, just to treat odd function as a negative symbol, just for understanding purpose I have here, even I am just saying. And even function as what, even function as a positive symbol, even function as a positive value. Okay, positive value. So whenever you are multiplying, that is multiplying odd function into odd function, that is odd function. See, I am warning that thing, it is a function, you want to be very careful. It is not an odd number multiplication of even number, it is a function, odd function multiplication of even function, that is negative into plus. What we will be getting, we will be getting odd function only, that is odd function into odd function, we will be getting odd function only. Similarly, odd into odd function into odd function into odd function, that is what, negative into negative, just consider negative into negative function. What we will be getting, we will be getting even function, because negative into negative what, positive. So that's the reason odd function into odd function, we will be getting even function, we will be getting even function. Similarly, even function even function into even function into even function, we will be getting what, we will be getting even function only. Okay, similarly, even into odd function, even function into odd function we will be getting odd function only. So that is the reason, for better understanding only I have given a symbol. This is considered as a plus symbol and plus symbol, this is multiplication symbol. Okay, this is multiplication, just to consider as a multiple symbol. Okay, multiplication symbol. And odd function is, we are considered as a even function, plus symbol. And sorry, odd function we are considered as what, negative symbol. And even function we are considering as what, plus symbol. Okay, now next basics is, see, whenever in question they will be giving mod x. Okay, mod x they will be giving, mod x they will be giving less than a, mod x less than a. And they also given, and also they will be giving mod x greater than a. So what is the meaning of mod x less than a and mod x greater than a? See, mod x less than a, see, you should be very careful. A can be any number, a can be any number. Okay, any number can be any number, any numbers. Okay, any numerical value. Okay, that's the thing, a can be any numerical value. Okay, see, whenever in question they are giving mod a, mod x is equal to a, less than a, mod x is less than a means, what is its meaning, means it is nothing but, we know that thing, limit, there is a limit is there, that is minus infinity to infinity. Mod x is less than a means they are indicating about x is up to a, and here minus a, that is nothing but minus a less than x is less than a. Okay, minus a less than a, x is less than a. Okay, minus a less than x is less than a, that is they are indicating about minus a to a. So in between you will have some value, that value is represented as what, mod x is less than a. This is the symbol of mod x less than a. Then what about mod x greater than a? Whenever mod x greater than a means they are indicating about, they are indicating greater, that means a, here if you observe, here it is a greater number. What is after the a? That is a to infinity. So here we can say that the remaining values are a to infinity and we also having minus infinity to a, minus infinity to minus a. Okay, so these are the representation. Okay, these are the representation. Okay, mod x less than a means minus a is less than x is less than a. Whenever they are giving mod x is greater than a means, greater than a means they are indicating about minus infinity to minus a to infinity. Okay, a to infinity. Example, mod x they have given less than, mod x is less than 5, mod x is less than 5, and they also mention mod x is greater than 5. That means they have given minus 5 is less than x is less than 5. So according to table, minus 5 to in between 5, minus 5 to in between 5, your mod x is there. Okay, x value is there. Yeah, this is the meaning of that value. Okay, this is nothing but mod x is less than 5. This is the interval. Okay, this is the interval. Okay, this interval is called as mod x is less than 5. Then mod x is greater than 5 means what? Mod x greater than 5 means remaining value. What is here? Infinity, here minus infinity. So 5 to infinity, this is one thing, and minus infinity to minus 5, this is the one thing. Okay, these are the area left out. Okay, these are the area left out. That is for mod x is greater than 5. Here also mod x is greater than 5. That means it is indicating about plus and minus symbol. Okay, so this is the concept you want to be know. This is very very important, you want to be know. See, that is the thing. Whenever mod x is less than a means they are indicating about minus a less than x is less than 5. So then mod x is greater than 5 means they are indicating about the remaining limit and interval. That is remaining limit and interval is what? That is from 5 to infinity and minus infinity to 5, minus 5. So this is the one more basics. Now we will move on to the problem topic. So we have learned about the Fourier integral basics thing. So these are the basics will be helpful in solving the sum. So Fourier integral. So Fourier integral. So when learning about the Fourier integral, we want to know the formula for solving this sum. So what is the formula we want to know means that is Fourier integral. Fourier integral is nothing but is equal to 0 to infinity. I told you Fourier integral is a non-periodic, so we want to wait until the infinity. So that's the reason 0 to infinity. Then there's a formula is there, 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x the whole into dx. Okay, the whole into dx. So this is the formula of Fourier integral. Whenever in the question they are asking about Fourier integral means you want to write the formula. For writing the formula we will be getting 1 mark. So 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x dx. So this is dx. Okay, now what is a omega? What is a omega? A omega is nothing but we can write minus infinity to infinity, 1 by pi. 1 by pi is outside, 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity a omega. So f of x a omega, what is the coordinate conjugative? So what is the coefficient? The coefficient of a omega in here is cos omega x. So cos omega x dx. So this is the a omega formula. Similarly b omega formula. So b omega formula is nothing but 1 by pi. Same formula is 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity f of x. Here what is there? Sin omega x. So sin omega x dx. See, whenever b omega is coming, sin omega is there. B omega sin omega, a omega cos omega, a omega cos omega. Easy to recollect the formula. So this is the formula will be useful for solving the problem. Okay. So now we will move on to the problem. Okay. Problem number 1. So problem number 1. So what is the thing they have asked? Find the Fourier integral representation. Find the Fourier integral representation of the function f of x is given. They have given us, tell that thing, solution given f of x. Okay, they have given the f of x is equal to, you just observe, f of x is equal to 1. F of x is equal to 1 under the condition they have given mod x is less than 2. This is the reason I have teach you why mod x is very much important. Mod x is less than 2, first condition. Second condition, they have given f of x is equal to 0. F of x is equal to 0 when mod x is greater than or equal to 2. Mod x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so this is the condition they have given. So f of x, so what is Fourier integral formula? So Fourier integral formula is, so for writing the formula we will be getting the 1 mark. Fourier integral formula is 0 to infinity a omega. A omega means next value is cos omega, very easy to learn. A omega means cos omega, then plus b omega into sin omega into the whole term is multiplied by dx. Okay, here the whole term is multiplied by dx. Then we want to identify what is a omega. So a omega is equal to what? A omega is nothing but 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity, what is there, what is left out? F of x cos omega x dx, and similarly what is b omega? B omega is nothing but 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity f of x sin omega x dx. So we have written the given. What is the given they have given? Mod x is less than 2. What is mod x is less than 2? We know that thing. Mod x is less than 2 means it is nothing but minus 2 less than x is less than 2, and this condition is nothing but we know that thing minus infinity to minus 2, and they also given 2 to infinity. So these are the condition we have decode. Okay, now we have decode. This is step number 1. Try to write, this is step numbers 1 because you have writing the given. Now writing the formula you will be carrying 1 mark. So step number 2, this is step number 2. Now step number 3. Step number 3 is identifying even function or odd function. Identifying even function or odd function, identifying even function or odd function. So what is given? F of x is equal to what? 1 and f of is equal to 0. Okay, so this is nothing but what? 1 and 0. F of x 1, f of x is equal to 1 and 0 is an constant value. So constant value means f of x is equal to what? F of x is equal to even function. So we know that the constant value means f of x is equal to what? Even function. So we have written the even function. Now we know this step number 4, identifying the limits. Let me draw the diagram, it will be helpful for you. Okay, so just minus infinity to infinity, they have given mod x is less than 2 means we know that thing, it is minus 2 to what? 2. So minus 2 to 2. In minus 2 to 2, what is f of x? Our f of x value is what? Our f of x value is 1. Our f of x value is 1 for mod x less than 2. That is mod x less than 2 means what? Minus 2 to 2. Our f of x value is what? Our f of x value is 1. Now for f of x, that is mod x greater than or equal to 2 means what? We know the thing, that is nothing but minus infinity to minus 2 and 2 to infinity. In that area, what is our f of x? In that area, our f of x, what they have given? 0. Our f of x is 0, and here our f of x is what? 0. Reason, because we know that thing mod x greater than or equal to 2. Mod x greater than or equal to 2 means that is nothing but minus infinity to minus 2 and 2 to infinity. In both the case, what is our f of x? In both the case, our f of x is 0. So that's the thing. So identifying limit. So limit, how we will be writing? So we know how writing the limit, that is nothing but minus infinity to infinity. So when you are identifying the limit, minus infinity to infinity. So when you are writing, it will be from starting from minus infinity to minus 2. Just observe, minus infinity to minus 2, then minus 2 to 2, then 2 to infinity. This is the way the limit is going. So minus infinity to minus 2 plus minus 2 to 2 plus then here also coming 2 to infinity. Okay, so why I am writing this way, we will be understand. Okay, in next system, so we have identified the limits. Okay, this is the way three part the limits are dividing. Okay, so what is according to the formula? So now formula step number 5, we know the formula. A omega is equal to what? A omega is equal to minus infinity to infinity f of x cos omega x. Okay, f of x cos omega x. So this one. So what is the formula? So formula according to minus infinity to infinity. So minus infinity to infinity, we have already splitted the limit in the previous step. What is the limit? Minus infinity to minus 2. That is minus infinity to minus 2 f of x cos omega x plus minus 2 to 2 f of x cos omega x plus what? 2 to infinity f of x cos omega x. This is the reason. Okay, this is the reason we want to identify the limit. We want to identify the limit. Okay, this is the reason we want to identify the limits. Okay, now you just observe what is f of x value here. Here the f of x value is 0 because minus infinity to minus 2, what is our f of x value? 0. So 0 into cos omega x, that is 0 into any value, 0 only. So this is won't come, this is won't come. Okay, this term will won't come. Then similarly here, what is f of x? Here the f of x for minus 2 to 2, f of x for minus 2 to 2 is what? That is nothing but 1. That is nothing but 1 into cos omega x dx. Okay, then here when it comes to here 2 to infinity, what is our 2 to infinity, what is our f of x? That is nothing but 0. So 0 into cos omega, that is 0 only. So what is left out? That is a omega is equal to minus 2 to 2, f of x is 1 into cos omega x. F of x is equal to 1 cos omega x dx. Okay, omega x dx, everything integration. So dx and dx. Okay, now one more foundation which you have learned in your school life also, basic integration. See, integration of minus a to a, it will be converted into integration of minus a to a, it will be converted into 2 into 0 to a, 2 into 0 to a. Or we can also say the thing, whenever even function is coming, whenever even function is coming, is arrived. Okay, whenever even function is arrived or achieved, what we will be writing? We will be changing the integration minus a to a equal to 2 into 0 to a. Under what condition? Under even function condition. Under even function condition, and it should be what? Minus a to a, here 1 by pi. Okay, 1 by pi. So formula is 1 by pi. Okay, 1 by pi. Now what is this one? Just you see, this is nothing but what? This is one is what? One is even function, this is constant. We know the thing, it is an even function. And what about cos omega x? That is also what? That is also even function. This is also even function. We have learned in the foundation, that is basic thing. Even function into even function, it will become even function. So this a omega will be converted into 1 by pi, will be converted into 2 into, since it is an even function, 2 into 0 to a. A is what? 2. A is what? Here 2 into 1 into cos omega x dx. 1 into cos omega x dx. So this is the thing, it is converted now. So a omega is equal to 2 by pi 0 to 2 cos omega x dx. So what is the integration formula? Integration formula of cos ax is nothing but sin ax divided by a. Sin ax divided by a. You want to be very careful. Similarly, sin ax, integration of sin ax dx. Okay, dx integration. is nothing but we will be getting minus cos ax divided by a. So this is the formula you want to be know. Integration of cos ax dx is nothing but sin ax divided by a. So here we will be, when you are doing integration, 2 divided by pi, integration of cos omega x, here a is what? Here a equal to omega. So we will be getting sin omega x divided by omega and 0 to 2, 0 to 2. Now apply the limit. So we know the thing, when you are applying the limit, it is nothing but upper limit minus lower limit. So upper limit minus lower limit is 2 by pi sin omega into 2 divided by omega minus sin 0 divided by omega. What is sin 0? What is sin 0? Sin 0 is 0. Sin 0 is 0. Sin 0 is 0. It is very important. Sin 0 is what? 0. Okay. So our a omega answer is what? Our a omega answer is 2 divided by pi. We will be getting sin 2 omega divided by omega. Sin 2 omega divided by omega. So this is our a omega value. Now we want to identify the b omega formula. B omega formula. B omega formula is what? 1 by pi. 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity. Minus infinity to infinity. F of x sin omega x dx. Sin omega x dx. So here 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity. What is f of x? F of x is equal to 1 and 0. That is constant value. Here f of x is equal to constant value. Here f of x is equal to constant value. So constant value is what? Constant value is an even function. So f of x is equal to 1 or constant value. So we can say the thing even function. What about sine? Sine is nothing but what? Odd function. So odd function. Even into odd function, what? Even into odd function is nothing but odd function. Whenever odd function is coming, so that is nothing but 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity. You are getting an odd function. So odd function means even into odd function, it will become odd function only. So whenever odd function is coming, we will be treating as a 0. Whenever odd function is coming, we will be treating as what? 0. Okay, that is even into odd function, it will become odd function. For such a case only, we will be dealing into what? B omega is equal to 0 and we will be saying. Okay, so this is the way we want to identify the answer. Okay, we have identified the a omega and b omega. Just substitute in the Fourier integral formula. What is Fourier integral formula? So Fourier integral is nothing but what? 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x dx. Okay, sin omega x dx. So just apply. So 0 to infinity. A omega is what? A omega we are getting was what? A omega we are getting as 2 pi. We are getting as 2 divided by pi sin 2 omega into, this is nothing but a omega into cos omega x. This is, what about b omega? B omega is 0. So 0 into dx. Okay. So this is our required answer. This is our required answer. Okay. This is our required answer. So now you have understand the procedure. So what is the procedure? So procedure for the problem. First step, write the given f of x. Just write in right. Okay. Just divide the mod x is less than a and mod x is greater than a. So just write the given. First you try to identify the f of x value for this, f of x value for this one, and this f of x value. Write the given first. Second step is what? Second step is formula. Fourier integral formula. This is the second step. Third step. What is the third step we have followed? Third step is even function or odd function. Even function or odd function. Even function or odd function. Just identify whether f of x is an even function or odd function. So fourth step, identify the limits. Identify the limits. Then fifth step, solve it. Solve it by substituting in the formula. Substituting in a omega and b omega formula. B omega formula. If it is If it is odd function, if it is an odd function, it will become 0, it is equal to 0. And if it is even function means we will be converting into minus a to a, and it is an even function. Even function means by multiplication. Minus a to a means we will be converted into 2 into what, 0 to a, 2 into 0 to a. Even function means 0 to a. Okay, this is the thing you have learned in your school life also. But if in odd function such a case is coming means we will directly write the 0 only. Minus a to a, f of x is equal to, if it is an odd function, it is automatically we will be writing 0 only. Reason, if you want I can explain the reason. For example, I am giving a limit minus 1. This is an example. Okay, example minus 1 to 1. A equal to 1, just to see. And we know the thing f of x is equal to x is what? Odd function. This is an odd function, no? This one we know the thing. So x dx. So what is happening? Just you observe. It will become 0 only because, just to see, integration of x is what? Integration of x power n is nothing but dx is nothing but x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So automatically it will become 0 only. Just you observe. So it will become x power x square divided by 2, and limit is what? Minus 1 to 1. So we know the thing, upper limit minus lower limit. Upper limit is what? 1 square. So 1 by 2 minus, here what? Minus 1 the whole square divided by 2. So what will happen? It will become 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, because minus 1 the whole square is what? 1. So minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, that is automatically will become 0. This is the reason we are calling odd function is what? 0. Okay. Now we will move on to the problem number 2. Okay, here the integration formula is you want to learn. Okay, just the thing is you want to learn is just a few more integration formula. Okay, that's the thing. What is the question they have asked? Find the Fourier integral representation of the function f of x they have given. That is f of x is equal to, what is they have given? F of x is equal to 0. Given, first of all, given f of x is equal to 0 under which condition? X is less than 0, where x is less than 0. Less than 0 means we know the thing, it is minus infinity to 0. Minus infinity to 0. Then f of x is equal to 1 by 2 when x is equal to 0. That we don't want to, right now we don't want to consider. Okay, they are saying when x is equal to 0, our f of x value equal to 1 by 2. They have even given the f of x value. Okay, now when f of x is equal to e power of minus x, when f of x is equal to e power of minus x, x value is greater than 0. So greater than 0 means until infinity, that is 0 to infinity. This one is indicating about 0 to infinity, this one is indicating minus infinity to 0. So these are the cases they have given. Okay, so now we will move on to the solution. So we have written the first step. This is the step number 1. We have addressed the given f of x is equal to 0 when x is less than 0, and equal to 0 means 1 by 2. F of x is equal to e power of minus x for x is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means 0 to infinity, because we are dealing with what? Fourier integral. Okay, so now second step is formula. So what is the formula? So we know the formula, that is Fourier integral. Fourier integral formula. So Fourier integral formula is nothing but f of 0 to infinity a omega, 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x dx, sin omega x dx. Okay, so this is the formula. So now we also want to know what is a omega. A omega is what? That is nothing but 1 by pi. Extra thing is 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity, minus infinity to infinity f of x cos omega x dx, cos omega x dx, and b omega is equal to, b omega is equal to what? 0 to infinity 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity f of x sin omega x dx, sin omega x dx. Okay, so then third step is identifying what? Even function or odd function. But here e power of minus x, we don't want to identify whether it is an even function or odd function, because there is a formula is there. Okay, so here when e power of x given, no need to find even function or odd function, even function or odd function. Okay, there is an exception is there. Okay, so there is always some exception is there. Okay, so e power of x they are given, whenever e power of x is they have given, try to don't need to find out even function or odd function, but in any case you want to identify, other case you want to identify whether even function or odd function. Okay, now we'll solve it. Okay, now what is the thing? Substitute. What is the thing? A omega is now, step number 4 is what? Step number 4 is identifying the limits. So identifying the limits. Step number 4 is identifying the limits. So we know the thing, what are the limits they have given? They have given is infinity to minus infinity. So what is they have given? This one is nothing but what? Infinity to 0, that is x is less than 0 means infinity to 0. So infinity to means 0 means 0, and they also given x is equal to 0, x is equal to 0 for 1 by 2, that no need. X is greater than 0, x is greater than 0 means this value. Here f of x is equal to what? E power of minus x, and here our f of x is what? That is nothing but 0. So what are the limits we are getting? 0 to infinity to 0, minus infinity to 0, and 0 to plus infinity, 0 to plus infinity, 0 to plus infinity. So these are the things we are getting. So what are the limits we are getting? Minus infinity to 0 plus 0 to infinity. So when minus infinity to 0, what is our f of x value? Our f of x value is 0. So 0 into any value, 0 only. So here, then when comes to 0 to infinity, what is our f of x value? That is e power of minus x. So that's the thing. This is the thing, e power of minus x cos omega x dx. Okay, so our a omega is equal to formula 1 by pi c minus infinity to 0. Let me write like this: minus infinity to 0, f of x cos omega x dx plus 0 to infinity f of x cos omega x dx. Okay, so we know the formula, we know the value. Okay, so a omega is equal to 1 by pi. So minus infinity to 0, what is our f of x value? That is nothing but 0. So 0 into cos omega x dx, 0 into 0 into, so this term will be cancelled. Okay, this is the term will be getting cancelled, plus then 0 to infinity, f of x value is what? F of x value is e power of minus x cos omega x dx, cos omega x dx. So this is the thing, and there is a formula is there. Okay, there's a formula is there. Integration of e power of ax cos bx, e power of ax cos bx, and integration of e power of ax sin bx. So you should be very careful, because this is the formula we are going to use in Fourier transform also. Very very important formula and very easy to recollect also. See here, alphabetic starting letter is what? A. So that is the thing. Alphabetic second letter is B. So you want to be very careful. Okay, so now e power of ax, formula is e power of ax divided by a square plus b square, a square plus b square, multiplication multiplied by alphabetic first order is what? A. So a into, what is first here they have given? Cos. So cos, so cos. So what is the first letter? First cos. So cos bx, cos bx. Then what is second alphabetic letter? B. So cos bx, then sin bx. Okay, sin bx. So this is the formula of first one. It's the first one formula. Second formula is nothing but integration of e power of ax sin bx. That is nothing but e power of ax divided by a square plus b square, a square plus b square. Just observe what is the alphabetic first order? A. Then here what is there? Sin is first there. So sin bx. So here plus symbol. So if you write here also plus symbol means same formula. So since it is sin here, I am writing here negative symbol b into sin bx. Okay, sin b into cos bx. So this is the formula. Okay, if it is plus symbol, we will be writing as a cos. If it is a sign symbol, we will be writing here minus. So this is the common formula, very very important formula, which is used going definitely from this kind of type. You can able to expect a question either in Fourier transform, Fourier cosine transform, or in Fourier sine or cosine, or even in Fourier integral also you can able to expect a question from this kind of formula. Okay. Now what is a omega? A omega is nothing but 1 by pi 0 to infinity e power of minus x cos omega x dx. So according to formula, what is a here? A is equal to minus 1. According to formula, a is equal to here what? Minus 1. Here minus is there, so a equal to minus 1, b is equal to omega. So just write it. So when you are writing 1 by pi outside, so e power of minus x divided by minus 1 the whole square plus b omega square, that is a square plus b square, so into whole into, so a, what is a? Minus 1, so a into cos, since here cos, so cos omega x plus b, what is b here? Omega into sin omega x dx, so omega x d, omega x. Okay, now apply the limit. So what is the limit? Limit is 0 to infinity. Okay, limit is 0 to infinity. When we are applying the limit, it will become a omega is equal to, when you are applying the limit 1 by pi, just applying the limit e minus infinity, in place of x you are applying the infinity, so minus infinity divided by 1 square plus omega square into minus 1 into cos omega into infinity plus b, b is what? Omega, so sin infinity minus upper limit minus lower limit, so lower limit, upper limit minus lower limit, what is lower limit? E power of 0, lower limit is 0, divided by 1 square plus omega square minus 1 cos 0 plus omega into sin 0, cos 0 into omega into sin 0. You want to write the bracket very carefully. Now what is e power of minus infinity and e power of 0? E power of minus infinity is nothing but what? 0, and e power of 0 equal to 1. So e power of minus infinity is what? 0, and e power of 0 equal to what? 1. So applying this condition, so e power of minus infinity is what? 0. So 0 into this value, 0 into this value, okay, this value. So what will happen? 0 into any value, it will become 0 minus upper limit minus lower limit, e power 0 is what? 1, so 1 divided by 1 square plus omega square minus 1 into, what is cos 0? Cos 0 equal to 1, cos 0 equal to 1. What about sin 0? We already know the thing, cos 0 equal to 1, sin 0 equal to 0, so omega into 0. So what is we are getting? We are getting a omega is equal to 1 by pi 0 minus upper limit minus lower limit, so 1 divided by 1 plus omega square into minus 1. So we will be multiplying minus into minus, this minus into this minus, it will become plus symbol. So 1 by pi into 1 plus omega square, 1 by pi into 1 plus omega square, this is our required answer. Okay, this is our a omega, this is our a omega. Now we want to identify the b omega. What is b omega? B omega is same limit only, we know the thing, that is nothing but 0 to infinity, same condition, because from minus infinity to 0, what is our f of x? F of x into sin omega x, that will become 0, no, minus infinity to 0, 0 into sin omega x will become 0. So that is the reason. So I am directly writing 0 to infinity. So 0 to infinity, f of x is what? E power of minus x sin omega x dx, sin omega x dx. So what is the formula? We know the formula, that is nothing but 1 by pi. So 1 by pi writing outside, so we will be writing e power of minus x divided by minus 1 the whole square plus omega square. Here also what? Here also a equal to 1, b equal to omega. This is a and this is b. Okay, this is b and this is a into sine. So since sine, what is a? A is minus 1. Since sine is first, so we want to write sine omega x. Sine, since sine, so we are writing minus symbol, omega minus omega cos omega x omega x. Now apply the limit 0 to infinity. So when you are applying the limit, upper limit minus lower limit. So upper limit minus lower limit. So b omega is equal to 1 by pi e power of minus infinity divided by 1 square plus omega square, 1 square plus omega square minus 1 into sin infinity plus omega into cos infinity minus upper limit minus lower limit is what? Lower limit is e power of 0 divided by 1 square plus omega square into minus 1 into sin 0 plus omega into cos 0, omega into cos 0. So what we will be getting? Just to solve, e power of minus infinity is what? We know the thing, e power of minus infinity is 0 and e power of 0 equal to 1. So this term will become what? 0. Totally will become 0. So what we are getting? B omega is equal to, this term will be totally become 0. So B omega is equal to minus of e power of 0 equal to 1. So 1 divided by 1 square plus omega square. Sin 0 is what? Sin 0 is 0. So 0 omega into what is cos 0? Cos 0 is 1. So cos 0 is 1. Sorry, ഇവിടെ minus ആണ്. Okay, here minus symbol. According to formula, here it is minus. According to formula, here minus. Okay, so minus omega we will be getting. So B omega is equal to what? Minus into minus plus. So omega divided by 1 plus omega square. This is now our B omega. This is our B omega. Now substitute in the formula. What is Fourier integral formula? Fourier integral formula is that is nothing but 0 to infinity. Here outside what is there? Outside 1 by pi is there. You should not forget about the 1 by pi. Okay, 0 to infinity. What is a omega? A omega is nothing but we are getting 1 divided by, that is 1 by pi. This is also 1 by pi 1 plus omega square into cos omega x plus B omega is nothing but 1 divided by pi into omega into 1 plus omega square into sin omega x dx. So this is our required answer. Okay, this is our required answer. So what is the thing? You want to apply everything in your problem only, you want to apply. So here if you observe very carefully, I am just writing e power of infinity. What is e power of infinity? E power of infinity, what will happen? It will become 0. That is the reason I am cancelling this one. 0 into anything, this is 0, it will become 0. 0 into any value, 0 only. So that is the reason we are cancelling this one. Okay, and e power of 0 is what? E power of 0 equal to 1, and here it is minus omega cos of t 0. Sin 0 is what? 0. So this term will be cancelled. And what about omega into cos 0? Cos 0 is 1. So here minus is there. So minus omega. So minus omega, here also minus. Here also one minus is there. Here also one minus is there. So minus into minus. So minus into minus, it will become plus. So B omega is equal to 1 by pi omega divided by 1 plus omega square. So same thing only, A omega also we have identified. Okay, so same procedure only. So you want to follow according to the procedure. Then you want to know the integration formula. Very much important formula. You can expect this formula in Fourier integral also, Fourier cosine integral, sine integral, transform, and Fourier transform. Very easy to recollect. Okay, just recollect e power of ax divided by a square plus b square, a cos bx plus sin bx. For cos means everything is positive when it comes to this kind, such a kind of formula. Okay, and a sin bx minus cos bx, that is for sin. Okay, so now we will move on to the third problem. Okay, this is the sum you can expect for 7 mark. Okay, we can expect for a 7 mark question or a 9 mark question. Okay, these are the sum we can expect for a 7 mark or a 9 mark or even for 5 mark. Okay, or even for 5 mark also there is a expectation is there. Okay, so basically if they are asking means they will be asked for 9 mark, or in rare case there is a chances of asking for 5 mark also. Okay, so now we will move on to the problem number 3. So problem number 3. So same method only, same formula only. But here the extra thing is they are asked. Here the extra thing is hence deduce. That is, we want to identify after substituting, after identifying the Fourier integral formula, we want to identify what is our f of x value. Okay. After that we want to identify. Just the procedure are same. Then this is an extra thing we want to identify. Okay. We will solve this up. Okay. Express the same thing only. We know the thing. Given f of x is equal to 1, when under the condition they have mentioned mod x is less than 1. Mod x is less than 1 means what? That is nothing but we know the thing minus 1 to x is less than x is 1. Okay, minus x minus 1 is less than x is less than 1, and f of x is equal to 0 when it is greater than mod x is greater than 1 means under two conditions, that is one is minus infinity to minus 1 and another condition is what? 1 to infinity. So in both the condition minus infinity to minus 1 and 1 to infinity, in both the condition our f of x value is what? Our f of x value is 0. Our f of x value is 0. Okay, now we have written the given. This is the given thing they have given. Now formula. What is the formula? Fourier transform formula. Fourier integral formula. Integral formula is 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x dx. Okay, so this is the formula. Okay, this is the formula. So now we know that thing. What is a omega? A omega is nothing but 1 by pi. Very easy to recollect. 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity f of x cos omega x dx. And what about b omega? B omega is nothing but 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity f of x sin omega x dx. Okay, since we know the thing, now third step, this is step number 2. Third step, step number 3, identify even function or odd function. Identifying even function or odd function. Even function or odd function. Odd function. When we are identifying even function or odd function, here they have given f of x is equal to 0 and 1. So both are what? Both are constant. When it is constant, we will be considering as what? Even function. So we will consider as even function. Okay, consider as a even function. So when it is an even function, just see a omega is equal to f of x is even. So f of x is even. It is an even function. Cos omega x is what? It is also even function. It is also even and it is also even function. So what will happen? A omega we can identify. What about b omega? B omega is nothing but f of x is even function and sin omega x is dx is what? Odd function. It is an odd function. So automatically from here even we can say the thing b omega is equal to 0. Reason I know the thing because even function into odd function, what we will be getting? We will be getting what? Odd function only. Odd function means that value will become 0. Okay, so directly we are writing b omega is equal to what? 0. Okay, and we want to identify the a omega. So now step number 4 is identifying the limits. Identify the limits. How to identify the limits? We know the thing, that is minus infinity to minus 1 to infinity, because based on the condition this is nothing but minus 1 to, so this is nothing but minus 1 to 1, so minus 1 to 1, and this one is nothing but minus infinity to minus 1 and 1 to infinity. So in this is the condition they have given. Okay, this is the condition. So we can draw the diagram. How we can able to draw the diagram? From minus infinity to minus 1 and minus 1 to 1 and 1 to infinity. So this is the condition. So a omega is equal to 1 by pi minus infinity to infinity f of x cos omega x dx can be written into 1 by pi common outside. So minus infinity to minus 1 f of x cos omega x plus minus 1 to 1 f of x cos omega x dx, here also dx, plus 1 to infinity f of x cos omega x dx. So what is the value of f of x when minus infinity to minus 1? 0 they have given. So it will become 0. So this is 0. So 0 into cos omega x, it will become 0 only. Here what is the value? We know the thing. It is they have given f of x is equal to what? 1. So 1 into cos omega x dx. And here what is the f of x value? That is nothing but 0. This is 0, no? So 0. So this is also won't come. So we have identified the limit. So limit is a omega is equal to 1 by pi minus 1 to 1 1 into cos omega x dx. Now you observe, see, it is nothing but what formula? Minus a to a, and it is an even function, so it will be converted into 2 into 0 to a, 2 into 0 to a. So 1 by pi 2 into 0 to a. Here a is what? This is a, no? So a is 0 to 1 cos omega x dx, cos omega x dx. So integration of cos omega x is what? Integration of cos omega x is 1 divided by 2 into, we will be getting sin omega x divided by omega. What is the limit? Limit is 0 to 1. So apply the limit. So when you are applying the limit, we will be getting 2 by pi, 2 divided by pi sin omega into 1 divided by omega minus sin 0 divided by omega. So what is sin 0? Sin 0 is 0. So we will be getting 2 by pi sin omega divided by omega. This is nothing but what? A omega. And what about b omega? B omega is nothing but 0, since it is an odd function. Since it is an odd function. Since it is an odd function, if you want, you can solve. If you solve also, directly you will be getting the answer as what? 0 only. So that is the thing, directly we are writing it is an odd function. So what is Fourier integral? Fourier integral is nothing but Fourier integral is nothing but 0 to infinity a omega. What is a omega? A omega is nothing but 2 divided by pi sin omega divided by omega into cos omega x plus b omega becomes 0. So 0 into dx. Okay, 0 into dx. Okay, so this is x value. Okay, dx. Now observe the question. What is the question they have given? Hence evaluate 0 to infinity. See, 0 to infinity sin omega cos omega x divided by omega. Sin omega x cos omega. So this is the value. They have mentioning. Okay, this is the value they are mentioning. You hence evaluate. That means we want to equal to this value. The here right hand side is nothing but f of x. Okay, so f of x is equal to, we are getting 0 to infinity. I am taking 2 pi outside sin omega cos omega x divided by omega into dx. Okay, this is nothing but x. Okay, now you want to compare it. When you are comparing, you are taking this 2 pi in this direction. So when you are taking 2 divided by pi in this right hand direction, what will happen? It will become 2 divided by pi. 2 divided by pi into f of x is equal to, we will be getting 0 to infinity sin omega cos omega x divided by f dx. So this is the thing. What is, see, now just observe 0 to infinity sin omega and cos omega divided by omega dx. Okay, dx. So this is the thing they have given. So we want to identify what is this one. So 2 by pi into f of x. So what is f of x? F of x is nothing but 2 by pi. We know the thing, that is nothing but 1 for mod x is less than 1 and 0 for mod x is greater than 1. So this is the thing. Just you want to write 1 for mod x is greater than 1 and 0 for mod x is less than 1. Just you want to write f of x value. What is f of x value? F of x value is they have given. So what is f of x value? F of x value is they have given. So this is right hand side. Okay, this is the right hand side. 0 to infinity sin omega cos omega x dx divided by omega dx. Okay, so 2 by pi f of x. F of x is given. Okay, now you just observe they have mentioned. So we have, according to our limit. So what is the limit they have mentioned? We know the thing, minus infinity to minus 1 and to 1, and we also know to infinity. But see, if you observe the interval, that is they have mentioned about minus infinity to minus 1 and 1 minus 1 to 1 and 1 to infinity. In nowhere they have mentioned about where x is equal to 1. So we want to consider. So we want to identify. We want to identify identify the value of x, identify the value of x is equal to 1. We want to identify the value of x is equal to 1 because they have never given is equal to symbol, so that means they are excluded the 1. So we want to identify that excluded one. Okay, because they never given x is equal to 1, so we want to identify the x is equal to 1, so that is called as point of discontinuity. Okay, point of discontinuity formula, that is very simple to identify. Point of discontinuity is nothing but just observe, here it is 1. Okay, here it is 1. Here we know that the f of x value is what, here 1, here f of x value is what, 0. This is the 1. Okay, left hand side f of x value, left hand side f of x value, right hand side f of x value, that is point of discontinuity. It is left hand side. For your simple purpose, left hand side f of x value plus right hand side f of x value, right side f of x value divided by 2. So what is left side left of x value, 1, and right side value is 0. So 1 plus 0 divided by 2, that is nothing but what, 1 by 2. So that is x is equal to what, at x is equal to 1, what is our f of x value, our f of x value is 1 by 2. So we can able to conclude that is 0 to infinity sine omega cos omega x divided by omega dx is equal to pi by 2 into x is equal to f of x is equal to 1, that is 1 when mod x is less than 1, and 1 by 2 when mod x is equal to 1, and it is nothing but 0 when mod x is greater than 1. So this is the thing we want to prove. Okay, so simple purpose. Okay, simple thing we want to identify, here x is equal to 1. In previous sum, in first sum they never asked. Okay, in first sum they have never asked to equalate. If they see, in first sum they have given equal to 2, that means they have included the 2. In second sum, if you observe in second sum they have given the x value, but when comes to third sum they never included. When comes to third sum they never included x is equal to 1. Okay, so that is the reason they have asked hence evaluate. When they are asking the hence evaluate, we want to identify, just we want to identify, this is nothing but what, a omega, this is what, a omega cos omega x dx. Here one value will be there, that is pi, 2 by pi. That 2 by pi we are taking to that left hand direction and into multiplication of f of x. Okay, so we will be seeing in our next topic Fourier cosine and sine integral in our next class. Okay, thank you.